All right. Welcome back to my Legally Blind Journal, number 31, the journey from fully sighted to being blind. So, jumping right in here. I've been trying out the counselor's recommendation for a couple of weeks now for putting in eye drops at each break to try and help minimize down the migraines. And it does help. They've been cut about in half. That's not to say I don't struggle with that, but they've been cut in half. So, man, I'll take it. I'll take it with a smile on. What I've been continuing to, learn how to deal with, finding new ways to deal with old things, or do old things, depending on what you're talking about, is the micro frustrations. And what I mean by that is, it's very easy to identify that when you've been sighted and now you're not as sighted or whatever, wherever you are on the spectrum, that you're frustrated because you can't get in the car and drive down and get something from the store, and somebody else isn't available to do it or whatever. That's a pretty easy one to identify. It's a big one, right? It's a singular focal point. However, one thing I've noticed is it's almost like the death of 1,000 cuts. And what I mean by that is that we've been trying to work through, why do I get frustrated, whereas I didn't used to, like this. And basically what we figured out is that it's micro frustrations and throughout the day. And then by the end of the evening, or after a few days or whatever, it just boils over, and I'm working through woosah, not letting that come out or not taking that out on somebody or any of that, because it's not their fault. And what it derives from is that, for instance, used to be able to see the microwave buttons, and now you can't. And while on a normal daily basis, that's not a problem because I have bump dots. I have these red dots that are raised up on the specific numbers that I would always use, a number 1, a start and a cancel. That's where they're at. But let's say there's a day where there's something that needs 1 minute and 45 seconds. Well, the bump dots don't cover that. You can add 30 seconds, but you can't add 45 with the bump dots. And so you get frustrated trying to fumble around and get the 145 put into the machine. And, it's a micro frustration. I mean, it's not outwardly, nobody realizes it, and you may not even realize it. But there's a micro frustration there because it was, it took longer. It was harder than it should have been or could have been or used to be, all these things. So then, you trip over a dog toy because, you look, when you're sighted, sometimes you trip over a dog toy, but you do it a lot more when you're not, or when you have a low vision problem. So you trip over a dog toy, and there's a little micro frustration there. Then you trip over the dog, a micro frustration there. And you're not dealing with these micro frustrations because you're not realizing that it's really happening, that it's building. So you're a little more frustrated, and then you trip down the stairs because you weren't using your cane or something, something in the environment's changed, and now all of a sudden you don't know it's there because it's not supposed to be there. It wasn't there before, and somebody who sighted put it there and didn't think about it, and now you tripped over it. And so, you get a little micro frustration there. You're not boiling over, you're not bubbling up, but over time, and it might be over days, I think what happens is you just get to that boiling point and you just, oh my gosh, and then you go off on some little stupid thing that isn't warranted, quite frankly. And for me, this week it was it was, and I apologized quite a few times, but it was an Amazon item. They shipped the 0.3 size of something, whereas it was supposed to be 3.0 size. And the guy on the phone I was like, look, this is a problem for me, and I need, help with the resolution, because they wanted me to, the only option was to drive down and put it in a return or pay $8, and the item was $8. And and he said, "Sir, I don't know what your problem is. Just drive to the store and drop it off." And it just leveled me. And it wasn't that. It was all the micro frustrations that have been building, and I know that's what it is, because I got frustrated with the microwave. That the example I'm giving, I did trip over some dog toys. I walked into something because it isn't normally there, and a whole slew of other things. A lot of things over a couple of days, and then they were like, what's your problem? Just drive down and drop it off. And it just that was it. That was the micro frustration that broke the camel's back, and I was like, you have no idea what you're saying. And he said, yes. I said, drive down and drop it off. And I just went off, that's any rate. And then once I had released that frustration, I said, I am so sorry. This conversation did not warrant me telling you that I'm blind and how ridiculous your statements are and all that. It really didn't, and I am so very, very sorry. And the reality is, it didn't. He doesn't know. And normally, 99% of the time, man, I'm not overly sensitive about this crap. I don't care. I get it. I was fully sighted for most of my life, so I totally get it. And yet, so I had to really step back and evaluate, why did that set me off. And it wasn't him. It was these micro frustrations that I need to be aware of. And I'm working on ways to figure out how to in a healthy way, deal with and release these micro frustrations before they all build to a big Lego tower, that falls down. So that's been a new one. That's been a learning, and you'd think I'm 31 weeks into this. You wouldn't have new learnings almost every week, but you do. So that's kind of what that bigger piece of the puzzle is, and I got to figure that one out. And there's other things. Obviously, a great thing. God blessed me with a really, really good memory for spatial recognition, and so basically, in a nutshell, I've got a nature trail cut in on the farm, and it's 3/4 of a mile, and I know every single divot, bump, stick, you name it. I know where they all are. All I had to do was step into it the very first time, and now I know where it is on the entire trail. And so I can navigate something like that even without my cane pretty well. And so, I'm really blessed in those things. Super, super blessed in a lot of ways. And, I feel like this is just one more step in the journey. And I just have to learn how to deal with some of these things in a new and different way, and the reality is, these micro frustrations, are just a new and different thing I gotta work through. And it's been there, obviously, as I've been going blind. I just didn't realize it, why, some of it. I thought I was, more frustrated at whatever, walking into some display at the local grocery store. But the reality is that one incident wasn't really the holistic issue. It was all these micro frustrations and then hitting that boiling point. So now that I'm kind of enlightened to that, I'm going to work with a counselor, see what coping techniques there are for that and whatnot. And it's not like I'm going crazy with it, but hey, anywhere where you can get better, I've always believed in, you do. Work on the education and work on the expansion of this, that, or the other. Definitely believe that you do. So, and beyond that, everything else is moving along. Just right now, we're around that 12 inches. plus or minus. And yeah, taking steps to make sure that I can minimize the migraines as much as possible, because those are probably one of my big risk items. And just keep it on. Well, hopefully that helps somebody. And yeah, we're gonna keep a positive attitude and keep rolling forward. Y'all be good out there. Peace out, Girl Scout.